Hey Matt, how are you?
Nicholas, nice to see you today.
Nice to see you. Did you check your 401k?
No, I do not check my 401k on a regular basis. I try not to look at it on a normal basis, and I will especially not look at it this week.
Yeah, I think it's the best move. Like, just forget about it for a month or so.
Yeah. Don't pay attention to what's happening in the news today. Just stay the course. All will be fine. All will be
All will be
good.
fine. All right, let's start it. All right, everybody. This is Nico with eStreamly, the company that gets you live stream and video commerce on your site, social media, email, SMS, wherever you are. The video is shoppable. So excited to be here with my great friend Matt from E6 Marketing, the company that gets you on QVC and HSN. And by the way, HSN QVC, big in the news today this week. So we're going to talk about that at length. But before we go there, why don't you get started, Matt, by telling us why is this show about?
Nico, thank you. So this is the VCommerce podcast. So welcome anyone that hasn't seen us before or heard us on their Apple or any wherever service you use for podcasts. The VCommerce podcast. Nicholas and I work in video commerce. What is video commerce? That's the social media app that you can buy products on and sell products through any format, whether it be products are sold through direct response television, through QVC and HSN, as Nicholas mentioned, and other channels, as well as through TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all the other kinds of apps, and especially through e-com. So we talk about the top 3 or 4 topics of the week. We always tease the fact that it's always a busy week in video commerce, and that truly is the case. Nicholas and I are here every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. This week especially, it's been really, really busy. And this is not a sports show, although we talk about sports, and it's not a political show. We talk about politics to an extent, but you have to kind of dip your toe into it when you're talking about video commerce because, Nicholas, our first topic, as you're going to get into, are the obvious headliner, all the tariffs that have happened this week.
Oh, tariff happened this week? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't.
there's a couple. There's a couple that happened. Yes.
Yeah, very interestingly, obviously, Liberation Day was announced on Wednesday through obviously President Trump getting into stage and explaining about the ramification of tariff. A lot of different countries were impacted. And obviously China being a big one. Asia in general has been a big one with, we were from company like Vietnam, and you think about like company like Nike, who is importing quite a bit from those areas. But also obviously China and all that area. Interestingly, for my, what I when I look at it, country like Brazil are not as impacted. And, Brazil is really this interesting powerhouse when we look at a bunch of things. They have tons of textile, they have tons of technology and tons of agriculture, and they're probably one of the least impacted. And so this is a country that I thought was kind of cool. So interestingly, our trading partner, which are Mexico, our main trading partner, which are Mexico and Canada, have not been impacted. I hope it's going to stay the course because obviously we do need those countries for many of the goods and services that we produce back and forth between from either manufacturing standpoint or just from a good perspective. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's mentioned to be starting on April 9. I think a lot of you guys that are probably listening to this are probably relying somewhat into importing goods and exporting products. And so you're probably looking at this and like trying to understand what does it mean. And basically, if you know, please let us know. We're very curious to hear your thought on that. But Matt, what do you think of this whole situation? Like, where do you think those tariffs are going? What is your take on this whole thing for the retail?
It's such a tough nut. I said something to a friend. There's a 25-year-old movie called The Perfect Storm, where these fishermen go into a perfect storm and try to go fishing, and they're professional fishermen, and they basically stay the course through this tumultuous storm. Now, that story didn't end very positively, and I won't spoil the ending to the movie, The Perfect Storm. But this is how I'm thinking about these tariffs. Like, you have to stay the course. You have to continue doing what you're doing. Don't look at your 401k for the immediate future. But the actual categories that it affects, affects almost seemingly everyone that works in fashion, electronics, furniture, automobiles, shoes, wine and spirits. Like, a lot of retail categories are affected by this. Yes, The Perfect Storm, great movie. And I'm one of the few still has cable. So you could stumble upon this if you had cable, but most people don't these days, or many people are cutting the cord. Anyway, I look at this as like, don't worry. Like, I obviously have to worry about it, but don't, like, this isn't the end of anything. It's just something that we have to get through as a country. It's going to settle down. As you kind of mentioned, like in another couple of months, things will be, copacetic in some new way, and it's all going to be fine.
Absolutely, because the way I think this is going to play out, I mean, that's my personal opinion. I'm not a politician or anything, but I mean, for a lot of countries, this can be quite damaging, right? They probably acknowledge, like Europe, for instance, they acknowledge that they have tarification for products that are coming from the US to Europe. That's not been new. That's always been the case. And some countries are just going to go back and give a phone call to Marco Rubio and sit down in his office and say, okay, well, we were doing tariff on your goods. We're just going to drop this whole thing if you can drop yours. And we're going to be, and so I think right now we know what the baseline is. And I think what's going to happen is, like, we need to sit down again in a month or 2 or 3 and see where that actually is landing. And I think that's when we will be able to say, okay, most of the negotiations are probably happen now. And that's when we'll get. So I think it's just going to be like a very tumultuous next 3 months, in my point of view. And then, everyone will understand what the new rules are, and then we will just obey by them. But it is certainly going to drive inflation. And I'm hoping that somehow this is going to get compensated somewhere else, so the consumer don't feel squeezed out. Agreed.
The next story I want to, there's a positive and a negative to the next story, so we want to talk about. But as I mentioned, I work through QVC. I've been working through QVC and HSN for most of my career, and they made a major announcement late last week that they are laying off 900 employees this calendar year. So QVC and HSN are sister networks. They're owned by a company called Curate, and they're diversifying what they do, and they're shutting down their St. Pete, Florida broadcast center and their campus. And HSN's broadcast will now be broadcasted from QVC studios, which are in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So most of those 900 people are coming from HSN. Many are also QVC employees. It's basically thinning thinning the employee base, not duplicating responsibilities and all that kind of thing. I've seen a lot of posts and a lot of passionate people that have worked there for their entire careers that are disappointed and upset. And unfortunately, I think it's the reality of what's happening in retail, and everyone's trying to flex and do the best they can for the companies. This is really, really disappointing. But in one way, it's kind of expected, in that QVC and HSN's core customer is a baby boomer. So she's getting older. People are cutting the cable cord, as we mentioned in the beginning of the show. So this is a business that I work in and I'm passionate about. I think it's kind of, as I've said, the godmother of everything with live streaming. HSN and QVC kind of invented this whole format of storytelling and presenting product. Disappointing for the HSN people, especially disappointed for the businesses that work through HSN, although HSN is not going away. They're just changing their broadcast location. They'll be in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So hopefully it doesn't affect all the retailers and the brokers that work through HSN. Hopefully a lot of the HSN employees will make their way up north to Westchester, PA, and continue to work through the network. In the meantime, QVC is flexing and will open with open arms, kind of invite them into their studios, into their vast building, and both networks will continue on. So this happens, the QVC HSN merger, where HSN moves into the Westchester studios, probably in the third quarter. So there's a few months, and no one that I've heard of has been let go like immediately. There's kind of a phase process to it. Someone I know, they're working through HSN until the end of the calendar year. Other people have like 60 days or 90 days. So it was alarming. This is a company that hasn't really done this before. This is the largest layoff they've ever had. So disappointing, yes, but
I mean,
somewhat
this has been going on for some time, right? We've been talking about this for a while now, and there's no, it was coming. It was like doomed to come, right? So I mean,
yeah.
it's very disappointing, but it's not that it should come as a surprise, uh, because and the company is trying to reinvent themselves, right? On the other side.
100%. So they QVC and HSN are now called. They used to be traded under a company called Curate that was renamed in the last month or so to QVC Group. So again, HSN and QVC are sister networks. Just this week. So you go from laying off 900 people one week to making the announcement this past week that now QVC, right now QVC, not HSN yet, but QVC and TikTok are partners. So QVC has been on the TikTok shop since August of 2024. They've kind of dipped their toe into it. They learned the algorithms, and they learn what works and what doesn't work. And they made the announcement on Good Morning America on Tuesday, I think Tuesday of this past week, that they will be the first U.S. company to be on TikTok shop in the U.S. 24 hours, 7 days a week. 24 hours, 7 days a week, which is really astonishing. But coming from a QVC building that knows how to do this 24/7, it's not that crazy. But being on TikTok shop for 24/7 is news. And they're going to mix in, dynamic influencers with QVC hosts, with their breadth of product across almost all categories. I'm very, very anxious to see how it grows and how it matures. I tuned in to TikTok yesterday in the middle of the workday, and I saw a woman selling QVC brands that I did not know. So she was an influencer that was selling a QVC kitchen brand, and she was doing an excellent job from her home, from her her kitchen set. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your thought. Like, what would be the incentive for a brand to actually sell directly on TikTok themselves, or to go to QVC to sell their product through the QVC infrastructure? I mean, obviously you have the whole content element, but I'm just curious to hear your thought on this whole strategy, because if I'm a sizable brand, I probably have some sort of a decent audience on TikTok already. I kind of know the intimacy of TikTok and so forth. I can learn for it or whatever. Why would I go to QVC versus doing it direct? What's your take on that?
It's a great question, but I still, it's yet to be kind of communicated their approach on TikTok shop. So we've talked about it on this show before, but they follow a sales strategy of girlfriend to girlfriend. It's called the girlfriend to girlfriend sales approach, where it's usually two people going back and forth in a casual manner, educating about the product, and at the end of the presentation, the customer buys it or they don't buy it, and they move on to the next product. TikTok shop is either long format or short format, and it's usually one person talking about the product, one camera, and it's a fast and furious kind of a channel. Where QVC, I would never say they're fast and furious in how they broadcast and how they present product. So to answer your question, I think you're hoping that QVC brings their consumers to TikTok shop to get discounts and get special offers, but that's yet to be figured out as well, because QVC's customer is an older woman, generally speaking, a woman. And is she on TikTok? Does she want to shop on TikTok? Does she want to stay to the the mothership and shop through QVC? So then if QVC's strategy is to bring a new customer to the QVC channel, then you're thinking, okay, well, they've got all this inventory and all these products and all these dynamic people that are known for storytelling. Will they enhance my brand if QVC sells it versus my team selling it independently? So if you're picking up followers, if you're picking up influencers, if you're picking up eyeballs, then QVC's TikTok shop is absolutely the right direction to go. If you're struggling with getting all those things, if you're doing it independently, very successfully yourself, I'm not sure why you'd work with any other third party besides doing it yourself. So it's a great question.
I think, there's maybe some, we got to give QVC the benefit of the doubt, right? Because here's a company that created a space, created a dynamic, right? And they saw something a lot of people were not seeing at the time, right? When they launched on TV. And if we look at what's happening in Asia, every paper says that it's going to be big through live streaming. Is going to be big on social media and everything in the world in general. And today in Asia, it's 20% of all transactions done that way. And we know that the early adopter are the winner in this space. If you think about what's happening in Asia, most of the sales, like the bulk of it, happen on platform. So TikTok is the only one delivering that experience today. So maybe we could well be that QVC has the same amount of visibility and ideal that they used to have when they launched on TV. And they're like, this is where the future is going. And it's time to invest now because we're looking at, we may be 2 or 3 years ahead of it. We will learn, we will fail, but we will know how to master the medium, and we will know how to be there when no one is still dabbling, and they are going all in as opposed to just try it out. And I think it's kind of fascinating. I mean, I applaud them for that move, to be frank with you.
I do too. And the baby boomers, and that's who their core customer is, have been getting older and older, obviously. And the cord cutting has happened now for the last few, 3 to 5 to maybe 8 years. More and more people are streaming and not doing the traditional cable thing. QVC used to have their whole business model based on go low, meaning that if QVC wanted all the cable channels to put QVC on a low number on the cable guide, because people channel surf, and then you pick up QVC and you pick up HSM by simply channel surfing. So it's a whole different world right now. They had to flex. QVC had to flex from what they were doing traditionally. I was there yesterday. I was there over the weekend. I'll be there tonight. I'll be there early next week. Like, they're still doing business 24/7, and the volume is still strong. I think it's like a diversifying their business model of like going after a younger consumer versus a more established consumer, with someone that, okay, my mom has shopped on QVC, but I never have. Let me check them out on TikTok and see what kind of products they sell if I'm interested in it as a younger TikTok shopper. So I think it's certainly, I mean, you can't say it's exciting. It's really exciting. Everyone in the building's buzzing about it. Everyone's trying to figure out where this is going. So change is not always good, but I think change was accepted and expected in the situation, and they're going to move forward.
And tomorrow we will know if it was the right strategy anyway, because the deadline is tomorrow for TikTok potentially being banned or acquired, right? So maybe tomorrow we'll realize that, it was not the right strategy, or absolutely was the right strategy. And I'm pretty sure they have some insight to go there. And so tomorrow it's Saturday, and then guess what? This is hoping to get some names out there. There has been some articles already about people saying like who is in the final days and who is in the front running. So you've got company like AppLovin, Amazon, Oracle, Blackstone, Anderson Horowitz that are competing to get basically the stake in the TikTok shop and TikTok in North America. So that's super interesting, considering this very troubled week, right, from starting from tariff to TikTok. But yeah, I mean, like, what's your thought on that? Any contender that you would love to be?
I know. I don't know all the the one company, Anderson Horowitz, is a VC firm. I know that Steve Wynn is behind the Apple 11. I know Steve Wynn from owning the New Jersey casinos. But Amazon's obviously, I think, the front runner. I think we'd all want to say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but like, isn't it the one element? I will say this, and I know they've tried this a few times. It's the one element where Amazon can't figure out. Yeah. They can't figure out live streaming, and I don't know why they can't, but they haven't been successful.
But people say they can't figure it out, but yet brands that are on there, they're still there and they're still continuing. So are they really can't figure it out? Like if I mean,
you don't think they want to figure it out? They don't care to figure it out.
I think they say out there that no one figured out, but it's actually working quite well. I think that's my thought on this, because brands are sticking to the Amazon Live. Like, if they were not sticking to Amazon Live, like if there was no value on doing that, they will not be there. It's not a huge amount of brands that are doing it, but the one that are doing it, they stick there, right? So, and so I do believe that for what it's worth, it's working for them. The question is, they haven't gone mass scale yet. I think that's the.
Well, they do Amazon Live, but they've done this in different iterations in the past.
Yeah.
And you certainly have to admit that it doesn't drive Amazon's bus. I mean, obviously, but they see the value in it. They obviously see the value in it. There's live streaming selling through live streaming works. I mean, I don't think there's any argument about it. The only thing, and we bring this up all the time with China, like, we can't replicate what they do. Their consumers are completely different than who our consumers are. And their government is involved in what they do. And we haven't really talked about that. Like, their whole lifestyle is different than what the US's is. I want the US to figure out this live streaming thing. Obviously, everyone's investing in it. Everyone's learning about it. It's the Wild West, and you've said that before. It's crazy. And in my opinion, and your opinion, I know you've shared this before, like, own your own inventory. So own your own video, control your own video, and then branch out and then see what you could do with it. So if you want to work through QVC, you want to work through other TikTok shops or other elements, like, own your own video, control it, and then branch out and learn more from other streamers on how you could grow the company.
And is it not amazing? Like, the loop is looped. Here we're on this Amazon Live, and look at the comment here. Just to clarify, some specific: Canada 10% tariff on energy product, 25% on import from Canada and Mexico, $20 on Chinese made good. April 9 go into effect, and then someone else said 20% on made good. So it's funny that the loop is looped.
Yeah,
We're in the live stream chat. Someone talking about tariff. Obviously, this is a chat here that we're seeing. This guy is doing a stream about, like, product that are so, like, mostly I will say Chinese, probably manufacturer skewed. And so I don't know if the guy was specifically talking about tariff on the stream, but so funny that the chat is about talking about this. Like, look at this, like, they're all talking about this, like
well, you can't avoid it. I mean, it's obviously the headline of the week, maybe the headline of the year so far.
Oh wow, like, look at this chat here. So a Lego batch at $26 would cost, if it passes the increased cost directly to the consumer, will be 32.5. So people are maybe on Amazon Live trying to see what the deal they can do today. Maybe resell that, in a week from now, post tariff or something. I don't know. It's super funny. And anyway, so just interesting to see. And those are the wild dynamic of live stream. I personally love it. So
me too. All
right. Well, before we move on, like, any shout out, Matt, for
quick shout out. So we talked a lot about QVC today. There's a launch tonight that I'm associated with. Relaxium is a sleep supplement brand that launches on QVC during the 8 p.m. show, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Relaxium sleep supplements. It's a big brand. You probably have seen it in DRTV or in retail. And for the very first time, they'll be on QVC tonight. So I'm excited to see how that brand does. And it obviously speaks to this baby boomer woman, Jen man, who have problems sleeping. And I'm not a baby boomer, but I have problems sleeping every night. So I'm anxious to see how the customer responds to this kind of product.
Awesome. I love it. Well, and on my side, a quick shout out also, special shout out to the team at Extremely. We just released, I think I mentioned that last week, the one-to-one video calling. And we've got this amazing engineer that has been really fantastic with doing some UI magic. And we have really worked very hard to improve the performance on our player again. And that has created some really, really interesting dynamic on the swap and everything. So got a lot of things going on in that space. If you're interested to look this out, check me out, and I'll be happy to share that with you. Matt, it's been a fantastic chat with you. We are here for every Friday on LinkedIn Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Extremely handle. You can also find us on YouTube on Extremely, and if you, we are also on the Live E-commerce podcast, and you can find us on obviously Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where the video is also there. Matt, great to see you, and I guess we'll see you again each other next week, and we have another special guest coming up, right?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. So have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy your holiday, or enjoy the weekend. It's not a holiday.
Enjoy the weekend. Yeah, there you go. All right.